Electrocast.
Why wait to see if you'll get something you like this Valentine's Day when you can go to BlueNile.com and find something you'll love? Whether you're looking to treat yourself to a little winter sparkle or show a galentine how much you appreciate them, Blue Nile offers a wide selection of high-quality designs, expert guidance, and free 30-day returns for the ultimate peace of mind. You can even design your own jewelry. Right now, save up to 50% at BlueNile.com. That's BlueNile.com.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. From the launch your online shop stage, all the way to the we just hit 1 million orders stage. No matter what stage you're in, Shopify's there to help you grow. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/special offer, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/special offer.
Today on MTP, we recap a wild Week 8 in the NFL, we preview Week 9 with our power rankings for the week, and we try and figure out what the fuck is going on with the Boston Celtics. This is Missing the Point, episode 94, but it's all relative.
Welcome into Missing the Point. I am Michael Marcangelo, joined alongside by Hollywood Rayshawn Buchanan, and our EP, Craig D'Alessandro. We're going to talk Week 8 of the NFL. We're also going to end with the Boston Celtics, but before we get Rayshawn's blood pressure up too high, let's start with the positives. Week 8, NFL, the New England Patriots went in to SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles and earned a really good win against what we think at this point is a really good up-and-coming Chargers team. So watching that game, Ray, what were your thoughts on that?
The final score should have been 27-17. And I know I'm nitpicking, but Jalen Mills is a fucking joke. Here you go. That's one crazy. Jalen Mills is awful. I'm sick of seeing him and his green hair on the field. You know, he calls himself the Green Goblin, but he gobbles up nothing on the field. You know, how ironic as we go into the turkey season. But anyways, yeah, he's just not that good. But no, I was happy to see the day one against a quality opponent. We've been clamoring for this all season. You know, you and I went back and forth, Mike, as you got my blood pressure going by saying it was a fake win a few weeks ago. I think what team they beat, but I think it was the Houston game. And I'm like, look, man, this team ain't good enough to talk about what's a fake win or what not. Like, they just need to win games. So whatever we can see in the win column, whatever we can see we need to see that. I don't care if it's against the 2008 Detroit Lions. Like, you need to win a game. So it was pleasing to see. Adrian Phillips looked great out there. It was good to see him perform with his former team. And yeah, like I said, it was a great performance all the way around. And it looks like they made another building block. So I was excited to see them win on the road again.
I think the best part about this win for me is that, you know, Mac didn't play great. Like, they won in spite of the fact that he did not have to play great. The defense, you know, that also wasn't a great showing, but they made those key plays at those key moments to steal and seal the game. I thought that Jalen Mills touchdown, man, I mean, you don't get better coverage. He was in the right spot. He was doing the right things. He just couldn't come down with the ball.
It always happens.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be something that always happens. But at least he wasn't like every other Patriots defensive back from, you know, the mid 2000s that just refused to turn their head. He made a play on the ball. He just could not make the play.
He's turning into Kyle Arrington. For casual Pats fans, type it up. He's turning into Kyle Arrington. Craig frowns his face. Well, Kyle Arrington sucked
I don't know. I didn't hate Kyle Arrington. Kyle Arrington was good. It was a good slot corner.
I don't remember. I don't remember him being that good. I don't remember a play that he had that I was like, man, this guy is out there. I don't know. Maybe it's Sterling Moore. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just naming guys that we had in early 2010s that just wasn't that guy. And granted, Mills is not here on crazy money, so it is what it is. But I just can't believe that today, as we recording this on the trade deadline day, that they didn't look to get secondary help. You lost Jonathan Jones. You know, you obviously, you know, your best corner that you had, you know, basically quit on you, and now back home in Carolina. You face him going into next week. So, I mean, I just don't know how. I mean, hell, they had a guy there in Carolina. His name was AJ Bouye. You know him very well because you faced him a few years ago in the AFC Championship game. You know what he could play. He's also the cousin of Jaylen Brown. That's a fun fact. So yeah, I just think he's someone that could have been brought here. So I know that's kind of a little bit off script, but I just think that, they need a secondary help. Like, I'm a little starved from Jalen Mills at this moment, if you haven't noticed.
I couldn't tell. But I mean, this win, just to focus on the good aspects of it, again, this is this is their first quality opponent. And when you look at their quality opponents this year, they hung tight with the Bucs. They hung tight with the Cowboys. And now they were finally able to do the things that they needed to do to walk away from the W. And I think this is a win that you can build on. I'm not gonna compare this team to the 2001 team, right? Everyone likes to do that after the Rams lost, 5-5, young quarterback. I don't know if we have that many Hall of Famers on the defensive side of the ball on this team, but this is something that you can build on. And I think just having the fact, like I said a couple minutes ago, Mac looking like a rookie, and they still win like that. He's had to look better than maybe he actually is so far in order just to keep them in games, or in order to overcome a deficit against the Houston freaking Texans. But this time, the team was able to do it. So, before the Bucs game, you and I were on, Ray, that you and I were talking after, that Bill Belichick can still game plan. Was this more of Bill Belichick game planning for Justin Herbert, or was this the Chargers absolutely just shitting their pants in the moment?
Well, there's an old school song by the Whispers called "The Beat Goes On," and that's what it is when it comes to Bill Belichick and young quarterbacks. The beat goes on. He continues to get the job done, and granted, I didn't listen. We weren't going to shut him out 43-0 like we did last year. I knew that wasn't happening because his defense
45.
45. No, sorry, excuse me.
One of the worst games I've ever seen. Beat 45.
Right, yeah, it was wild because even N'Keal Harry looked good last year. He looked good. But you know what? Maybe he needs to play in LA all the time. We can get into that shortly, but he just looks somewhat decent whenever he's in SoFi Stadium. So maybe he needs to be out there. But you missed it because 4 o'clock's already gone. But anyways, yeah. So I definitely lost my train of thought of that because I was trying to make jokes about N'Keal Harry, but
I think the point was can Belichick is Belichick still good?
Belichick is still game plan when he needs to. Herbert has not looked good the first 2 times matching up. I think he eventually will catch Bill at some point. I think he's, like I said, when you're 6'6", 230. I said we got to give Bobby credit. Bobby's the one that was saying that he was going to be a problem. I was just like, look, a quarterback from Oregon, I just don't see what he's going to be. Anybody in the Pac-12, I just don't really think that they're going to be much of anything, but he is the prototype. So I had to throw that in there since we're all three of us are wrestling fans and we all know what that means as an insider. But yeah, he's definitely the prototype. And, who knows? He may be the guy in that division. I know Craig may think so, but he damn sure don't think the other guy in that division is going to be the guy. So, I'm pretty sure Craig thinks that Herbert's going to be the guy. But yeah, no, this is definitely game planning. I definitely think also, I forgot they have a rookie head coach as well. Anthony Lynn would have got beat too. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But rookie head coach, listen, he's 4-0 against rookie coaches this year. I think so. That's not, you don't stand much of a chance. That's not happening unless you have a great team around you that they can win in spite of the coach.
Would this win have meant more if the Chargers didn't get their doors blown off the week before against the Ravens, or is this still a real quality win?
No, it's still a quality win. Listen, the Ravens up until 2 weeks ago said, they're a good team. So that happens. And once again, it's the best week by week soap opera. Any given Sunday, someone can get beat, right? So, we're going to get into that when we talk about the Jets shortly. But yeah, no, it doesn't mean any less. This team needs to string together. That's Bill Belichick's words because you see when they do the pats inside the locker room, they need to string together wins. And yeah, I am going to fall into the easy narrative. It does look a little bit like 0-1. Not saying that they're going to win the Super Bowl, but that game last week against the Jets winning 54-13, there was a team they beat 44-13 that year. The year they won 0-1. Now, granted, Mike White ain't Peyton Manning. But we're not. I'll never be blasphemous to put him in that category. But that win propelled them, later on into the season. Granted, they're still going to have moments when we look at them like, what the hell is going on? But if they are to make something of the season, even if they make at least a divisional round, we're going to look back at this stretch of the season and say, you know what? They had a rocky start and they found a way to right the ship and let Matt go. Now, as far as Matt goes, right, we talked about it. 16-33, 205. Yes.
Close.
Yeah, listen, pedestrian, right? Pedestrian at best. Game manager type of game for sure. And I say he's been a game manager really all year, right? Like he's not gonna turn the ball over, crazy. I do like the throw he had to Henry. I do like the couple throws he had to Jacoby. I love that Nelson Aguilar finally held on to a ball. My God. They're all fucking weak though, Nelson. Well, actually, no, let me say that back. No, we need you to catch that, but it'd be another win if you would caught the Demaryius Thomas type pass, 0 blitz, you were gone because he can fly when he catches the ball. He's out of there. They would have won the game, but whatever. Needless to say, it is what it is. Dallas got that win, but yeah, I think it's actually good that we finally seen a game that he throws for under 50%. Granted, we don't want that every week, but it also lets us know that they are starting to entrust him more with the offense. They go as far as number 10 is going to take him at this moment. And that sounds crazy that a rookie is going to lead, and as they say, someone young shall lead them. Well, that's what's happening right now. Someone young is leading them, and he has to continue to lead them, to whatever, status they're going to get to, not just the season, but beyond.
Are we to the point now where we trust Damian Harris? Because I do.
I'm a fan. I'm on the bandwagon. Him and Stevenson are the future.
Is it too much to say that he's our most powerful running back since Corey Dillon?
I mean, we're going to forget about the law firm?
Yeah. I forgot all about that Jarvis Green-Ellis. Yeah.
I mean, he was a 1,000-yard rusher, so let's show him respect.
So's Antoine Smith.
I mean, but they won with Smith, though. They didn't win with the law firm, unfortunately. But no, yeah, whatever. I'll buy it. That's not something to really debate. I'll take that, and we'll say I would love to see him get 1,635 yards. Though I would love to see that. And that means that we'll be back in SoFi come February. You can book that, baby. If he got 1,700 yards and then back doesn't need it, you can rest assured we'll be representing the AFC as a team. You're in 2021. New England Patriots, like that will be happening. And yeah, I may sound like a homer. Oh well, sorry, Joe. I know what else will sound like the homer. Oh well, I'm gonna sound like a homer. if we get those type of numbers, you can rest assured we'll be representing the AFC. Then that's just how I see it, because the AFC is wide open. So,
wide open. Yeah, but before we move on from this game, I think I would be remiss if I didn't just talk about one negative thing. Maybe it's not a negative. Maybe it's an area for them just to improve upon.
Mm-hmm.
Can we please just get the tight ends involved more? Please? I mean, in this game, I know that if we're compared to last year, it's so much better, but last year was an absolute fire. I mean, when you think about it this way.
That's 2 years.
Yeah, they had the tight ends combined for 3 catches and 46 yards. We're not paying close to $100 million for that. You got to do more. You have to.
Yeah, I mean that's also on the game planning, right? So Jesse Josh gets a break from me momentarily. Once again, you can get that shirt at mtpshow.com. But he gets a break from me momentarily because he's called a great game recently. But listen, was it the Dallas game? Was it Dallas game or no? It was a game. It was a game last week before he got hurt. Like featuring Jonnu Smith early, I was like, hello, like do you not see what's going on? Like, the man in space is a problem. He's a problem, ladies and gentlemen. Like, get this man the ball. Granted, obviously, you can't control injuries, but I'm like, yo, him in open space. Hello, we need playmakers. Like, what are you doing, Josh? What are we doing, Bill? Whoever's behind it, like, what are we doing? So I think he sees Henry as a security blanket, meaning Mac. So we see that connection already. So I think we'll see that as we kind of go into December and, football gets a little colder. Give it to a bigger body, kind of see what happens. But yeah, we need to see them tight end, sweeps. We need to see the tight end screens. We need to see the seam routes. We need to see the comeback routes. Whatever we can do to get those guys in. And for God's sake, please get Jacoby Myers a touchdown.
I know, right?
Like, damn. Like, it's just like, just get him in there. Like, he does all the dirty work. He's becoming our new Edelman. He's becoming that. Please get him in that. I know Craig thinks he's nothing but a number 3. That's okay. We don't have to argue that. You're right, Craig. As of now, you're right. So I'm not going to go back and forth on that. But he does dirty work. Get this man in the end zone. He helps the offense as much as anybody on this team right now, in my opinion. He deserves it. Like, so he should have more throwing touchdowns ever seen.
I was about to drive to Boston with slap. You just put Julian Edelman and Jacoby Myers in the same sentence.
But he's becoming that guy on this team. Absolutely. The guy that's a possession guy. Absolutely. That's not far-fetched.
Just to be clear, Craig, Edelman wasn't Edelman until 2013, and he was a number 3 up until they decided to not pay Wes. So, and even on the team for 3 years at that point, doing nothing, just fielding punt returns.
Right.
So,
exactly. Sure.
Let Jacoby mature, because he was the only bright spot in the offense last year.
Right.
And I think he's your Mr. Reliable. You know what? If you throw him a ball, he's going to catch it. But last thing. Is it me, or am I wrong to think that Bill took over the defense again? Because this felt more like he was scheming as opposed to Gerard Mayo, who I love, and his cocaine addict looking son, Steven, in terms of a game plan. This felt like a game plan that you would see, let's say in 2011, right? When we didn't have a very good secondary, but they were able to piece together enough wins and hold them in the red zone enough to get to the Super Bowl that year and make a deep playoff run. This defense is more talented, I think, than 2011, but this felt all scheme.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be, right, in order for them to get to where they want to go. And like I said, we clamored for it a few weeks ago. He needs to have his hand in more, and more of the defense, or whatever. I mean, like I said, I think Randy Moss and some other guys alluded to it too. Like, he knows offense as well. Like, you can't be around the game as long as he's been and not know something on the offensive end, right? Like, that just comes with the territory. But yeah, it looks like he is. And if so, thank God, because Steve Belichick, once again, narcissism is real.
Nepotism.
Yeah, that too. Narcissism, nepotism, whatever word would end. It's also that, though. It's both words, but he just needs, he needs to have a seat. He needs to have a seat. He needs to maybe join us and just watching the game, not on the show necessarily. Well, if you want to come on, Craig, reach out to you. But
out of the show,
to me, yeah. I'm thankful that Bill said, okay, enough's enough. It's time for me to take over. If that's the case, like I said, we know Matt Patricia right now is just here collecting checks. Steve Belichick right now is collecting checks.
Thank you, Detroit, because we're not paying him anything.
Oh yeah, so cool, whatever. Yeah, so collect checks. So yeah, appreciate that. But he's literally just here, just as a photo op on the sideline, clearly. But yeah, if that's the case, hopefully Bill is doing that. I've had an up and down relationship with Bill this season. I've had moments when I've wanted him to get him and Nike in the car and ship him off Phil Logan. I'm not going to lie. I felt he's out of touch, and he's still out of touch with certain things. I'm not going to back off of that, but he's still doing enough to show that he's still that guy. What do you
think Bill's out of touch with?
Finding offensive talent. Still there. And even it's that, but it's also, this is not.
Are you sure? Because it kind of feels like he nailed the quarterback position, the running back position.
Quarterback, I think he's been fine overall since he's been here. I think even, hell, even Castle being the 7th round pick, was able to help get them over to 5. Castle was a Pro Bowl in this league. Obviously, Jimmy G has been a starter. Doesn't mean he wasn't the greatest, or he has been the greatest, but he's been a starter. Yep. He's been to the Super Bowl. So, quarterback, yes. Running backs, he's done pretty well. Whether it's undrafted or not, but I mean, we know he's such a wide receiver. Yeah, it's just like, I feel like he's really good with the offensive line, but I don't know. It's just certain things. I'm just like that. But
I think if we just boil it down, he's just really bad at drafting wide receivers.
Yeah, but in this era, that matters more than anything else. Like, this is, you can't get by with Detroit Browns and David Patton to the world, and that's what our receiver core looks like, an 0-1 type. You know what I'm saying? Like that, it can't be. You need those Jerry Jeudy type guys in the league now. You just do, and it can't be Gunnar Olszewski being a guy that's shaped, and he's not even playing, but it can't be those type of guys. Maybe 1 or 2 of those guys. It'd been cool to see Andy Isabella come back here, who was a UMass product. That'd been cool to get him back here today, but it didn't work out that way. But no, but far as the out of touch, I mean, on the defensive side, it's definitely the linebackers. Like this is not 1986. Like, this is not Carl Banks. This is not LT. And granted, obviously, of course, we would fucking love to have an LT type of guy. Duh. But it's just like, you're not gonna find that guy. And let's just say this. Let's just put it out there. Dante Hightower, my good sir, it is time to enjoy your family. It's time. It's time, my brother. You already got a glimpse of it last year, and I think you liked it. And that's fine. You helped bring us 3 rings, helped the greatest comeback of all time in Super Bowl history with that strip sack of Matt Ryan, and the rest was history. So, sir, we're forever indebted. You're in the Patriots Ring of Honor. You're probably the best 54. To me, he's better than Bruschi. That's just my opinion. But it's time. It's time. Like, you're starting to look like me out there. It's time to go. That play that Justin Jackson had 2 or 3 years ago, he's getting smacked and that ball might get fumbled. He had that man on skates and he bowed down to him on the field, and Justin Jackson was gone. Gone. Thank God that his cousin J.C. Jackson caught him, even though they ended up scoring like 2 of the plays after, or literally the next play after. But I was like, wow. I'm like, you made him look that foolish in the hole. I said, this is not good. Like, you need to get a linebacker that is smaller, that can knock someone on their ass. Dante Hightower is no longer that guy. What do you thought?
You're not going to bait me into a Hightower or over Brewski fight. You're just not going to do that. So we're just going to bypass that.
I mean, they're both 3-time champions, and they.
Yeah, one was definitely more skilled. One was more opportune. I'll leave it to that. Like, Brewski won you more games than Hightower did. Now Hightower is probably a better player, all around. But I would say, you can't lose with either of them. But
that's true.
To your point, it feels to me like Belichick's prototype of a linebacker is more like a Gerard Mayo, just a big guy, gets a lot of tackles.
Yep.
Doesn't make a lot of, like, a Willie McGinnis. He's a Hall of Famer, but like that stature, big, and like to your point, Ray,
in the
league now, like, you can't do that. You have to have Judon or multiple Judons, right? Someone said that he's the savior of the defense. He's the reason why that you're 4-4, and maybe you're not 2-6. I mean, you should be better than 4-4, but he is the reason why you are at least where you are. Week 8 of the NFL had a lot of surprises, right? A lot of shocking wins or losses, depending on who you're rooting for. I did not see the New Orleans Saints beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 36-27. I thought that Tampa Bay was just rolling. They were a wagon. And lo and behold, Jameis Winston and Trevor Siemian were enough to that and that defense. I don't think that they don't get talked about enough nationally, but the Saints defense is real, and it is fast, it is opportune, and they were able to obviously to take the ball away from Brady twice. And again, they were able to. I think they created. Did they create a fumble as well? Yeah. So I mean, they were just all over the ball. But when you're watching that game, when you see, Tom Brady walking into the Superdome, and it's, Jameis Winston, who started the game. Obviously, he went down with a season-ending injury. Did it ever cross your mind that this was not going to be a Buccaneers win?
Well, I mean, last year, New Orleans dominated them in the Superdome as well. I mean, obviously, Drew Brees was the quarterback, so that had a little bit to do with it. But I wanted to humble some of my friends that are Saints fans, and you may be listening to the show. So first, thank you for listening. We appreciate you.
How many friends do you have?
A lot of friends, dude.
A lot of friends.
A lot. All over, thankfully. That's why they help download the show, so thank you.
He's got bros in different area codes, you know what I mean?
And that's right, baby. Shout out to Luda. But I want to humble Saints fans. You got hyped when y'all smacked them in the regular season last year. Or I just smacked them, but like, so you beat them. Okay, right, you beat them, whatever. It doesn't matter. Whether you win by 1 or win by whatever, win's a win, right? When it came to the game that mattered, in your house, he sent y'all home and he said Drew Brees home for good. Let's relax. That being said, Dennis Allen needs a head coaching job at some point. I know he's been there with Sean Payton for a while. Dennis Allen deserves a job. I said that defense was phenomenal. And listen, Brady has those games every now and then that you're just like, what is going on? He's had a few against the Bills, had a few against the Jets, where he has a few games against Chicago last year. He just has those moments every now and then where you're like, okay, what is this guy? Now I feel bad for the next team they face.
Oh,
because it's going to be one of those 5 touchdown, one interception, type of game. So, but yeah, I mean, listen, give New Orleans credit. They did what they were supposed to do at home. I feel for Jameis. I think he was having a bounce back season. I mean, Lord knows they came in here and so yeah, he was doing his thing. So now, it's on Taysom Hill. It's on, I listen, I can't fucking believe it. Trevor Siemian.
I thought he was out of the league.
I thought he was on the couch like how we were, but I'm like, Trevor Siemian came in and did that. Then again, we saw stuff from Mike White. I said, we'll get into that. But I said, wow. So, I mean, listen, just off that, like, listen, Trevor Siemian would have got the game ball for me as soon as we got off the field. Here's the game ball. You got it. Congratulations. But yeah. Like I said, it was a little bit shocking. But then again, like I said, it's a Superdome. Wacky things have happened down there. And regardless of what I may think of the offense or the team as a whole, Their defense has been elite for several years, and that is a big part due to to Dennis Allen. So he always has them ready.
Tell you what, I mean, it's not often that Tom Brady has a stat line of 28 for 40, 375 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 2 picks, and that's a loss. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a bad game. Yeah, 2 turnovers, sure, but 4 touchdowns? I mean, he's just not ready. I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound weird. I don't think he's ready for that team in that spot in the regular season. I don't think for some reason, I just don't think he gets up for that. I don't think he wants to go back there in the playoffs. I think he'd rather host that game, but he's not afraid to do that either, right? I mean, divisional opponents, divisional matchups are hard.
I mean, they won all on the road last year. Every game on the road.
Yeah, but they got smacked by the Saints in the Superdome last year to start the season.
Right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they did, but it's just like once again, you say that he don't get up and what I'm telling for a fact. New Orleans does not want to see him. I don't care if it's at Epcot at Disney. I'm telling you, they don't want to see Tom Brady in the playoffs. And it doesn't matter where, it doesn't matter when. They don't want to see that man because in their heart of hearts, they know their vacation begins the moment you see 15 minutes on the clock in this quarter 1. They know it's time. It's over. So they don't want to see him. They'd rather face the other 12 in Green Bay, who's also playing phenomenal, but he ain't that 12 down in Tampa Bay. And I've said it on the show religiously, and I'll continue to say that. I don't care how good he looks in the regular season. They're the Utah Jazz of the NFL, but like I said, that's just a crossover thing. But yeah, listen, Tom Brady when it matters most. And yeah, it's hard. It's hard. Like you said, it's hard. It's hard. It's year 22.
Yeah.
You keep lamenting about a year guy back. It's year 19 for the pro. Well, it's year 22 for Tom Brady. And yeah, it's hard to get up for certain games, divisional opponent or not. It's just not. And once again, they put up 27. So I think they were clearly more into it than last year. Obviously, I think they remember what happened. It was okay. We're trying to do whatever we can. They were down. What 26-7 or 21-7 at one point.
23-7.
23-7. And I was like, it's just once again, people I know was talking a while. I says this game is not over. If you think it's over, you're drunk high or a mix of both. And literally I went to get popcorn and a Mountain Dew Zero Sugar, not a sponsor, and they had the lead. I said, wow. Wow.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Yeah.
So I was just like, this dude is ridiculous. But I said, hey, kind of reminded me of the 06 AFC Championship game, because I forget the corner that got the pick, but he sure looked like Marlon Jackson there. And I was like, I'm having PTSD. I'm having PTSD at the moment, but yeah, it's going to happen. You're allowed one stinker a year, maybe even 2, but he's going to bounce back. That team as a whole is going to get bounced back. And guess what? NFL and NFC, they're getting healthy at the right time. So look out.
You just think about Brady's career in Tampa so far. He's what is he? He's 20-7 total, and so far he's 1-3 against the Saints.
Yeah, I mean, there because but you know what though? Granted. Remember the Kenbro Tompkins touchdown. You can have your man.
I meant in Tampa, just in Tampa.
And, right? No, I'm saying about. Overall though, like he struggled against those Saints team. Like in New Orleans though, he struggled against them.
Yeah, 2009.
Yeah, whenever he's been home, which I alludes to your point about having to host a game. But when they've been at home in the regular season, he's done fairly well. But like I said, I just listen, one game for your life, as your famous quote. This used to be on the t-shirt too. Gun to your head. That used to be on the shirt too. Gun to your head, one game. Who you
probably can't do that in 2021 for.
Right, got to be a little more PC than that. My bad. Well, either way, one game, your playoff lives on the line. That's more PC. You're rocking with Tom Brady forever and always.
It's a tough loss. It's a surprising win for the Saints. 44-year-old Tom Brady. He's still the guy I would choose in a one-game situation that you needed to win over any other quarterback in the league right now or that has been in the league ever. He's my guy. You still trust him. At this stage of his career, he can still do all the things that he needs to do to win. Upping the shock factor, though. You've mentioned this a couple of times. Bengals walk into MetLife Stadium 5-2 to face the 1-5 Jets. Mike White is the starting quarterback. I didn't even know. I didn't even know where this kid was from. No clue.
Right.
He proceeds to go 37 of 45 for 405 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, and a 34-31 win over the Tiger King and the Cincinnati Bengals. Ray, talk to me.
I mean, as you see, my jaw is dropping as you were giving off those stats. Instantly, they turned into, meaning Cincinnati turned into Peter Warrick, the old Corey Dillon, and Achilles Smith. You know, that's some name drops for you there. But I said, wow, what that is that's unreal. That's unreal. You know, even let's go back to John Carter too. Let's go even further back, right? But that's what they look like all of a sudden. I'm like, damn, like I guess the Jets, like this is how you're looking. But hey, this Jets team, listen, me and Joe have been on the bandwagon for Robert Saleh. You know, it really is really ABG with me and Joe, anybody but Gase. But listen, Robert Saleh could coach like that. It would have been easy for them to say, fuck this guy after losing 54-13, to come back and beat a team that was first, I think, in the AFC, not just the AFC North, but in the AFC as a whole. Lets me know that he has their ear in that locker room, and they will run through a wall for him clearly. So, like I said, to beat the Titans, to beat the Bengals, 2 good teams. Granted, they're still a few seasons away from being a serious contender, but they're building something there in New York for sure, and I think that's not to be taken lightly. But yeah, I mean, this sounds wild, but I'm like, are we on the Mike White hype train? Are we keeping Zach Wilson? Are we keeping Zach Wilson on the bench? He's looked better than Zach Wilson's looked all year, and that's not an exaggeration. I know people say, "Oh, he's trolling." I'm like, nah. Check the numbers. Mike White, these last 2 games against us and against Cincinnati, you know, he's looked like the guy that should be starting. And granted, he's been in the league for a few years, but it's not like he's been playing and he was on your fantasy team every week. You didn't no casual fan knew who this guy was. Outside the college he may have went to, when his friends and family, for wherever talent he's in. He's balling. And I say, let it rock. It's about winning games, Robert. This ain't about protective feelings. Let him play until he shows that he completely sucks. Let him play. That's how I see it. Yeah, it's okay because he's not choking. He's not choking right now. He's balling. So let him continue to play. And, you know, yeah.
You're saying that you would, at this point in time, if Zach Wilson is healthy, based on what you've seen from Mike White, have Zach Wilson sit your number 2 overall pick of this year's draft now?
What has he done? What has Zach Wilson done to say, okay, you continue being started? They did it because they had no hope. They've won these 2 games, or they've won another game with this guy. And he's looked, like I said, he's looked better than Zach Wilson's looked all year. That is not
prediction. It's a spoiler.
It's a spoiler, baby. That he's looked better than him. And yes, we get it. Like, he can easily turn into Mike Glennon next week. I get that. Once again, sorry to, no shade on Mike Glennon, but, hey, shout out to your agent too for getting you $15 million a year a few years ago. So,
I mean, he might also turn into Josh Johnson, who came in relief for him a little bit. Right? We don't know what Mike. First of all, I thought he was out of the league too.
Me too, right? That's. I'm just like, what is this? Yeah, like what's going on in New York? Like, what is going on? But
I was like, Josh Johnson from like Tampa. From about 8 years ago, that Josh Johnson.
That's once again. That's crazy. And once again, I hate to make it about this guy, but I'm like, you just say, okay, so Mike White, Josh Johnson, and then that guy in Seattle, Geno Smith. Like, listen, Cam, if you're listening, bro, I know you went and got the vaccine. I don't know what you're doing behind the scenes, but bro, get a coach that can help with that arm motion, do something, because these cats, when you're at your best, Cam, these dudes are not in your fucking stratosphere, bro. I'm sorry. Like, I cannot believe that these guys are having a job. And Tatum Newton is on the couch watching TV like you and me. That blows my mind. And granted, I know how we looked last year, but it's like, damn, if he's on and his mind's right, there's no way those guys, you're not telling me those guys are better than Cam Newton as a dual threat. That's just my opinion. But and I granted, I'm not saying he's going to come in there being Warren Moon. That's not what I'm saying. But he, as a dual threat, he's better than those guys. But me to say back to Mike White, he should have the job until he shows that he's not that guy.
But what does that do? What does that do to the franchise? Dude? Like, what? Think about it. I mean, I'm with you.
He comes back next year and he gets the job. But right now, once again, if you're looking to protect from further injury, that's how what I'd be thinking of too, right? If you're looking to protect from further injury, he wasn't entirely ready. They lost their number 1 lineman, I think, in Mekhi Becton, lost them pretty early, right? So all that is going on, and you're white hot, no pun intended, with this guy. Then you let him rock. This is the NFL. This is not, you're not here to protect feelings. You're here to win games. And it's so ironic that it's the freaking Jets. You know why? Because you play to win the game. That's simple. So if I'm him, fuck the feelings. Go out there and play. That's the Craig. Go out there and play.
My question would be, based on what you just said, like you just listed all the reasons as to why this wasn't going the way of Zach Wilson. The number one lineman's out, whatever. But let's say, Mike White takes over this team at 1-5, and then they finish the season at, let's call it 7-10.
That'd be fucking beautiful for them, honestly.
How do you go back to Zach Wilson? Because all the same obstacles that he had to face, Mike White did, and he overcame them. In reality, he did better. So what does that do to your number 2 overall pick?
Okay, well, they just keep the search then. Fuck it. Okay. Oh, well. Listen, I could care less. As long as we only have to worry about Buffalo in that division, I'm good. I don't care what the Jets do. I don't care what with Mr. Handicap do down there in Miami with Tua. I'm good. So as long as they still have troubles and they want to fight back and forth between Wilson and White, I'm cool. No pun intended, but it's a dub for the Patriots. So I'm good. I'm fine with that. But listen, but in all seriousness, from a psyche standpoint, yeah, that probably would mess with Zach. But like I said, it's about protecting the feelings. So if that guy is winning those games right now, and you're not at the point that you need to be health wise, yeah, I'm gonna sit you out until you're able to come back. Get you another offseason under your belt. Maybe get some other weapons, get another lineman or two that can really help the protection, like they did for Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. That's perfectly fine. Zach Wilson's made some throws that you're like, okay, I can see why he's the number 2 pick. And he's made, some other throws that makes him look like Ryan Leaf 2.0. So it's just like, I'm great. And I would hate to put that on him. That it's early to say that, but I'm just out of the business of protecting feelings. Like I said, we'll get into that when we talk about our home team for basketball, but I'm over protecting feelings. Like if that guy's playing, I'm going to ride that wave until I can't ride it no more.
I'm with you, Ray. Like I don't have a horse in this race, right? But if I'm Zach Wilson and I'm 1-5 up to this point, and I have all these obstacles, and you have Mike White from who the fuck knows university come in and light up the Cincinnati Bengals. Like, shout out to your mom, Mr. Wilson, but you will be out of this league fast. So figure it out, because you have some guy that no one even heard of before is now going to be the media darling. If he can do this, again, 7-10. If he gets this team to 7-10, there's an actual conversation to be had.
Right, he becomes Broadway Joe 2.0.
Right, exactly.
Literally, he's in that conversation with Favre, because Favre won the division. Chad Pennington, which actually that's who he actually reminds me of. This Mike White. He looks like a Chad Pennington type guy,
but he can throw.
Chad Pennington could throw too for the shoulder injury. Chad Pennington can throw.
I think this guy actually has a cannon. Pennington was a very
he has a better arm than Pennington. I'm saying, but Chad Pennington before the shoulder injury, he was getting into LeBron Coles. He was getting into Kerbet and got into him also. He could throw it, but he wasn't a gunslinger like this kid here. But yeah, but that's the worst thing. If he becomes Chad Pennington, and like I said, Chad Pennington was really good in New York, hey, right. And so sometimes you just kind of stumble into it, right? And that's okay. Zach, it doesn't mean that Zach Wilson still wasn't the right pick, because he was. He was there. You wanted to get him fine. But if it turns out that this guy is better than what you believed, your number 2 pick was going to be, it's okay to move off of Pell. They moved off Darnold in 2 years, so they can move on to Zach Wilson as well. It's all right.
I mean, like you said, you mentioned Ryan Leaf. I'll just say another more recent name. There's a chance that Zach Wilson is the New York Jets version of Tavares Jackson before Russell Wilson took that job over. Nice. No one saw that coming. And then he's still here. And I don't know if this is going to happen. These are overreactions from one game. Real quick before we get to BK's power rankings, the Dakless Dallas Cowboys able to go into Minnesota and play a tough game and come up with a win. I thought Cooper Rush, I thought he looked really, really good. I mean, I think it was 25 of 40, 2 touchdowns. That's what you needed. And then Zeke stepped up in terms of pass block. He was not a great runner. I mean, I don't know what's going on with him. 16 carries, 50 yards, wasn't great, but he did a lot of good pass protection. And then Amari Cooper, 8 catches, 122 yards. And that defense, again, opportune. They held it. And now, 6-1, the Dallas Cowboys, through 7 games, have 6 wins. They have a real team. I think in that division now, because of Dak's injury, they're already so far ahead of every other team. They've pretty much already sewn up the division, right?
Right.
If Dak isn't 100%, do you play him?
No, because it's not about the break. It's not about the break of the season. Like, and honestly, it is, but it's not. So if I'm Mike McCarthy, I'm looking every man in that locker room to say, to a man, do you feel that we can get one on the road if we need to? And if that answer is yes, then I'm saying Dak until I absolutely need to play him. Listen, the defense is getting healthier. I know Gallup is coming back soon. Michael Parsons has been everything as advertised, if not more. I actually thought that's what New England was going to get at 15, but obviously, Mac Jones falling to our lap. So either way, thank God it worked out for them. It worked out for us. The running game has been where it needs to be most of the season. It wasn't on Sunday, but it has been for most of the season, whether it's been Zeke or Pollard, so that they have a two-headed monster. Cooper's answered the bell, Cooper Rush and Amari Cooper. So it's definitely been the Coop show, or like the old school show. They've been hanging with Mr. Cooper.
That's right.
So that was good. So yeah, I mean, listen, they're definitely the real deal. To say otherwise, let's say you're just hating, you just want to continue to control their fans. And listen, they should have their chest out. Like I said, you won 6 out of 7 games. That's an awesome start. They easily look like a 13-win team. They should go 13-4. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, no crazy, no smile when I say this part. I hope they beat the brakes off Kansas City. I know they don't play them next week, but I hope they beat the brakes off them when they play Kansas City. Because they beat the Giants yesterday, but they don't look good at all. They don't. Because to win 20-17, it's just like, okay, that Giants team that's 2-5 now, whatever. Like you barely beat them by a field goal, bro. Like, nah, that's just. And I mean, I think Mahomes had a pick in every game this season, which is insane.
He doesn't look good. Their offense doesn't look good at times, but their defense is bad. It is really, really bad. I mean, we're talking like 2010 Patriots bad, like not good at all.
But that team was also 14-2.
Terrible division.
Sure, but I'm saying, but it's just like Kansas City at some point needs to. I mean, Denver fell off. The Chargers are 4-3 now. I was about to say Oakland, but Vegas, surprisingly, could maybe run away with the division. They keep playing. Well, I know they had a bye week, but it's like, wow. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, listen, Kansas City's gonna go on a run at some point. That's just expected. They just not going to Super Bowl, but they gonna go on a run at some point where everybody's like, oh my God, the Kansas City Chiefs once again are doing X, Y, and Z. But
yeah,
they're not. The Super Bowl hopes are over. But no, but back to the Cowboys. I just think that in the NFC, Tampa is their only concern.
Agreed. Moving on to BK's power rankings for is it week 9? This is week 9 power ranking.
Yep, week 9. Yep.
Number 1, he has the Los Angeles Rams at 7-1. Number 2, he has the Dallas Cowboys at 6-1. Boo! I mean, I give him a lot of credit for not doing the easy thing and putting the Dallas Cowboys as number 1. I mean,
how would that have been easy?
You instantly earn credibility by doing the right thing. I think Bobby did there. Number 3, we have the Green Bay Packers at 7-1. They're such a fraud team. As long as that man is your quarterback, you could go 16-1. He's already proved it. He'll go 15-1 and lose in the first playoff game. He's sackless. Number 4, Arizona Cardinals 7-1. I feel like that's a little too low for them. They should probably be a little bit higher. The Bills at 5.
Green Bay beat them now, but go ahead, continue.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Continue.
The Bills at 5 and 5-2. At 6, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 6-2. 7, the Baltimore Ravens at 5-2. 8, the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, off of that Jets loss, man, they should have been just taken off the entire power rankings. So they don't belong there.
You think so?
Well, listen. Here's why. You have the Saints in the 9th spot at 5-2, and then the Tennessee Titans, who win despite losing their powerhouse running back at 6-2. He has them in 10th. You're telling me that a Cincinnati Bengal team that just got their asses kicked in the 4th quarter by the New York Jets is better than the Tennessee Titans? I don't think so.
So off this game, no, right? Obviously, right?
As it currently stands. As
it currently stands, right? No, but I do think Cincinnati's been the better team so far but yeah, like I said, if we're going off current things, then no, obviously when we lose to the Jets. But then again, Tennessee lost to the Jets too. So it's like, they shouldn't be had there either. But it's just that. So that's a wash that
the Bucs fell like 3 spots because they lost to a team that's still in the power rankings. So
listen, he knows that, you and I are the two biggest Brady supporters on the show. So, he wanted to take a little shot at us while we were on, and that's fine. Joe would have said it right there where he needed to be, because even though he changed his stats on Brady and Tampa, so we'll give him credit for that. But yeah, listen, Tampa's where they need to be, in my opinion. Like, they're not better than those teams right now. I think they will be come the end of the season. But honestly, I don't have an issue with the list. Like, to me, he got the teams right.
The Titans should not be in 10th. You know this. You know it.
Sure. I mean, if you want to switch them for 8th with Cincinnati, fine. But I mean, that to me is the only switch I would do.
Sure.
And I said, we got this far in the show. Von Miller, Jesus. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? Von Miller to the LA Rams. And this is what listen, I don't want to hear about salary cap no more. I don't want to hear about that shit. They for the last 3 or 4 years, they have pushed their chips all the way in and said, we're going to do it. And, I can't take credit for this joke, but I thought it was hilarious. So I had to bring it onto the show. It's like they said the Rams picked Jared Goff number 1 in 2016, and they said, fuck this, we can't do this again. I thought that was hilarious. I think that is spot on. They said, we're giving everybody our draft picks. We don't trust our people to draft, so we're just going to bring the best players from other teams and bring them in. So that to me is awesome. It's hilarious. That's one of the better jokes I've seen today about that. But I'm like, wow, Von Miller, because some of the way he's out the guy he once was. He don't have to be in that fucking defense. You don't have to be. It took a second and a third, and this is where it's just like a second and a third. And once again, we know how our coach values those day 2 picks, but I'm like, a second and a third for a guy that's a future Hall of Famer. What are we doing?
I mean, what I would just tell you, what I would just tell you right now is that Bill, when Bill does see or he does identify that there is a need for a corner at the trade deadline, he does do it. Like, he got Aqib Talib.
But there wasn't a need this year? Huh? What?
I think, now here's what I think. I don't want to get too more into Patriots talk. I think Bill, now at 4-4, thinks with the AFC as wide open as it is, he has enough to make a run. Not a run to the Super Bowl, like maybe to an AFC title game or an AFC divisional game, but which will earn him 3 more years in New England, right? Because it will exceed expectations. I don't think it's going to take. I would much prefer Stephon Gilmore to still be here. Trust me, I would.
Sure, no, we both do, but I'm not. My thing is, not even if you just get a corner, but I'm like, you're not telling me just another piece, whether it's linebacker or like I said, another corner, even with someone that's just there for depth. Like, you needed to add to this defense, whether it's to make us quicker, whether it's to make us more athletic. Like, that's the goal. You lost Jonathan Jones, like that was the speed guy. You're not telling me, unless you think Sean Wade is going to become Malcolm Butler 2.0, and please God, it would be awesome for that to happen. But we don't know that right now. And granted, I still think teams look at us from the last 20 years and say, I'm not giving them a piece that's going to help put them over the top. I firmly believe it's the same shit that happened with Danny, even though we weren't over the top every year. It was like, I'm not trading with Danny because he fleeces us. And if that guy sees a talent, that means he can use something, and that guy's going to become something. I totally believe that's the case why people would trade with Bill like that. However, it's like a second and third rounder, and they're paying $9 million of his. That to me is up Bill's, and that's up his alley. They're paying most of the salary. You're telling me 2 picks and $700,000? Like Robert Kraft probably spent more than that at the parlor he was at. Like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, you got to go get that guy. Yeah, I said it. I'm sorry, whatever. You can put that later on if you need to, but he probably spent more money there than what Denver spent or whatever, or LA spent in Von Miller. I just like the mentality of pushing all in and just saying, hey, we're going for broke. Now, granted, Rams, y'all mother, whatever. Y'all got to get to the Super Bowl. You cannot trade for this guy and push all the way. The pressure's on. Or like that, the heat is on. You got to get there.
They did all of that to beat Brady in the NFC title game. That's all they did. They did
to lose to them.
But that they have now Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, and Von Miller to beat Brady in the NFC title game.
Could you? I mean, granted, this is purely fantasy, but could you imagine we had a guy? Well, we did back in the day. Richard Seymour was phenomenal, but can you imagine if we had a guy like AD up front right now? Like, I mean, listen, and I love Barmore. I think Barmore is the next guy up. Like, he's in the next line with Vincent, Seymour, all them. Like, we're going to be talking about him in a few years being that guy that you're like, wow, what a steal he was in the second. But yeah, I just, that to me would change everything. If we had a guy up front that you're like, besides Judon, that you'd be like, yo, rusher on the edge that can just get to that guy. That's why I was saying to get someone like Barmore. Like I said, I didn't even know he was available. So the fact that when I saw that, the group chat went off, like, yeah, it was like, yeah, Von Miller to the Rams. I said, to the Rams. I said, what? I said, damn. I said, man, when you got to go all in, it's something in it. But, you know, it is what it is. But, you know, I'm still burning with desire to talk about our next thing. So I'm waiting patiently.
Let's say, Ray, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
The Boston Celtics last night blew a 19-point third quarter lead, a 14-point fourth quarter lead. And to a really good Chicago Bulls team, sure, but you had that game. The Celtics fall to 2-5 on the year, last in the Atlantic Division. I think they're 10th or 11th or 12th in the Eastern Conference.
They're last. I don't care what the stands say. They're last, regardless. They're last.
After everything that happened last year, you know, the GM, Danny, he's gone. Brad, no longer the coach. We still have the same problems. You still can't hold a lead against a good team. Last year was against any team, but you still can't hold a lead late in the game. Never mind that. Jaylen Brown was 10 of 16 shooting from the field for 28 points through 3. He took 2 shots in the fourth quarter, while Tatum was 7 of 14 through 3 and went 1 for 8 in the fourth. Leads to, again, the leader, quote unquote, Marcus Smart, coming out after the game saying that Jaylen and Jayson need to pass the ball. Sure, you know what? He might be right. Maybe you don't need to say that, but like, it leads me to the actual title of this segment. What the fuck is going on with the Boston Celtics, right?
I'm fucking done. I listen. I don't care that it's 7 games in. I know you was giving me shit last night through the group chat saying that it's 7 games. Pissed off. Yeah, you definitely were. I was pissed off, and I'm still pissed off to this day. Like, it's unbelievable to me. You're up 19, and once again, even when the game was getting away from you in the second quarter, Jaylen Brown goes on a 10-0 run by himself to basically bring you to the game. And that's what sucks us in, right? It sucks us in. It's like, oh man, like, you know, this guy's different. That guy's different. We're still playing 2-on-5. We're still playing 2-on-5 every fucking night. It doesn't make sense. I'm over it. And it's just like, they pick and choose, we're still pass the ball. And once again, listen, Marcus Smart was not wrong. Was you not the guy to say that shit, bro. You not that guy. And the fact that you had no assist in the game last night, don't take shit, bro. Because you 1 for 7 all the time. Don't be that guy. Yo, listen, Brad Stevens. Listen, you earned. I came back to call you Brad Stevens because I felt you had a really good offseason, and you did, right? Bringing back Horford has been awesome because Al Horford's been our best player through the first 7-8 games. That's not debated. Need to go. Like, saying his ass at Logan Airport tomorrow. Like, bye. When they get down to Orlando, leave him there. Hell, talk to Orlando about getting Terrence Ross. I'll take Terrence Ross right now over Josh Richardson. Go get him. Let him enjoy him and his family go to Disney World and enjoy the time. Because he and his cancer is making more comments off the court than his impact off the court is way greater than his on the court. He's not doing shit. So it's just there's so many things that's wrong. There's not enough time on the show to break down. I need another hour to at least to talk about the bullshit that's going on. And I'm just like, listen, I gotta take a shot at me. How many times I talk about Horseshoe's got to go, right? Horseshoe's got to go. I've said it numerous times. Yes, he was a good coach, but his message clearly became stale. This shit is proving he was not the main fucking problem. He was a problem. He wasn't the main problem, and Ipe's not the main problem either. But at this moment, I'm just like I'm at my wit's end. I don't know what to say. I'm in loss of words.
It's Jayson Tatum.
But it's not just him, though. It's not just him. It's the easy. I'm at a loss of words, right? It is Jayson to a certain extent. This ironically, I think we talked about that. I don't know if it was with Abby. We talked about it over Joe Sway. I can't remember which interview it was, but we talked about Tatum and Brown becoming the new Pierce and Walker, right? Paul Pierce was very much like this early in his career. The immature guy, granted, Tatum's not going out like that, but going out, saying certain things to the coach, him and Doc getting into it, all this stuff, right? And then they trade Antoine, make Paul the captain. Pierce ends up having to kind of go up. They have another season where they're kind of bad after missing the playoffs. It really looks like that. But the reason why I brought that up, this pairing may have to split now. And I'm like, once again, DK, if you hear this, brother, listen, you took the bullet early on, and me and BK was on your head right away. And I still stand by that. I thought it was too early when you said it last year. I did. I'm not gonna back off that. But now is that time. Because once again, you got to send a message to this team that, this is no longer acceptable. So my thing is, if it's Smart and Brown, if it's Smart Brown, it can't two of those guys got to go. So whether it's Tatum, Smart and Brown, regardless, Marcus Smart got to be involved in the deal. Send him elsewhere. Maybe Jack gets first wings elsewhere too. I personally think that. Oh gosh, I was talking to someone about this earlier, but I forgot where I said. Oh, to Utah. So let me ask you this: Would you trade Tatum? And Craig, you can chime in on this too. Would you trade Tatum to Utah for Donovan Mitchell?
Yes.
Yeah. So to me, because Donovan Mitchell and Jaylen Brown are super tight. I think with Mitchell, Brown, whatever combination you want to bring, having Horford, some other that they would actually make the call solid with that team, because Donovan Mitchell gets it. He understands that. Okay, I think he's from this area too. He's from New England, I think. So he would fit into here in this culture day one. Fans will love him. He still fits the timeline because him and Jaylen are both 24, I think. So I would legitimately think about trading Tatum for Donovan Mitchell. And I know there's going to be folks that hear this, they think I'm out of my mind, and that's okay. But this iteration of the Celtics, this version of the Celtics, I can no longer fully support. Do I love basketball more than anything? Absolutely. You're talking to the biggest basketball guy on the show. But it's just I can no longer openly support this bullshit. And that's what it is. And it's not just the coaching. The coaching hasn't been great. The defensive lapses. And it's the worst part is they've had flashes already this season that when they lock in for real, there's maybe 2 or 3 teams that really could beat them. That Charlotte game showed me everything this team could be at its peak. They're going to score like crazy. And then when they need 4 or 5 stops in a row, they're getting that. Even last night, they showed it. They showed it for 38 minutes. Or not even 38 minutes. For 33 minutes, they showed when we're locked in, you cannot fuck with us. And Chicago's the best team in the East right now. New York is one of the best teams. They played up to their competition. They played up to it. They haven't won, but they played up to the competition. But it's at some point, it's got to turn into wins, and it's not happening. They have been bad since, Mike's Heat took us out of the playoffs a couple years ago. That's what's going on. They beat us at 6, and whatever heart check that Kemba was talking about, that heart was ripped out of them at that moment. And the heart was ripped out from Bam Adebayo's block a couple years ago to now. It's been all downhill. I'm fucking done.
So I think it's going to be tough for me to follow that rant. But what I would say is, if we have this consensus that Jayson Tatum is the guy, right? As he's been anointed, as we've been told by every basketball guy, not you guys, but in the national media, when it's not your night, so you make others better. And what he did in the fourth quarter last night tells me he doesn't care or he doesn't know. One is ignorance. One is punishable, right? So if you don't care and you need to get your 8 shots in, you just can't do that. You really can't do that. And I think, last year when I said it, maybe I was a little too soon. I could still be wrong. This is the final year that you have to test this. If Tatum and Brown do not elevate the people around them to get this team, which it's not the greatest Celtics team that we've seen of all time, but when they all, as you said, lock in, they can beat pretty much any team. If they don't make a deep Eastern Conference run, I'll say right now, if they don't get to a final, you need to move on from one of them. Personally, I would move on from Tatum. Now, here's just listen and breathe when you're listening to this, or however you're doing it. You need to accept the fact that whoever you send elsewhere is going to go on to have a dominant NBA career. It's going to happen. You're not going to win in this situation in terms of losing talent. You just might win championships. And for me and for most of the Celtics fans, that's really all that matters, because Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown are two ungodly talents, and we saw them play together, and it's amazing. But sometimes talented players like that don't mesh very well. They just can't elevate each other. I think that they're too redundant. I don't think that they do anything differently, or not anything, but they don't do too much differently to impact the team. So like we're here. It's Tuesday, November 2nd. You're listening to this whenever you're listening to this. This is it. This is the last year. And for me, move on from Tatum.
Right. So this is the issue, right? There's a lot of things that came to my mind as you were speaking, right? So what we continue to forget, and even though I cannot stand this pundit that I'm about to give credit to, his name is Nick, right? He brought up a few years ago, and he wasn't wrong, especially not wrong now, but he wasn't wrong then. But, once again, he took the bullet a few years ago. Tatum and Brown really was supposed to be here, honestly. The plan was Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving. That was the plan. And you got Kyrie, kind of through a back channel. You got Kyrie. So it was supposed to be Kyrie and AD, and then, whatever parts you could fill in. And then, my God, Hammond and Gordon Hayward's your third option. My God. 18 would have been here immediately. But once again, that's a whole nother time another day. But I think about that also. Speaking of Hayward, the worst thing that happened was that he got injured in 2017.
Yep.
That's the worst thing that happened. Because once he went down and you gave them the keys, and it's with any young guy, right? It's not just because it's them. Any young guy, right? I think it would have been different had you gave him the keys from the jump. Like, it was just like, okay, this is y'all, whatever. But Hayward was coming in. He was the big signing. You traded Kyrie for a month later. Jaylen Brown gets put to the bench. Well, no, Jaylen Brown ended up starting, but, still had Horford, still had Marcus Morris. So it was still a veteran-laden team that 2017-2018 year. But obviously, between injuries and trades, there's a lot of things just end up happening. The hospital Celtics were born. So, Rozier catches fire. Really, truth be told, now hindsight shit, maybe they get to a finals with Rozier, Brown, Tatum, Horford, and Hayward. Who knows? Maybe. Because even that's still a very talented team without a Kyrie Irving. But I get it. They were in panic mode. They felt they needed another all-star that guard. That's why they got Kemba Walker. Listen, at the time, I thought it made sense. I know hindsight's 2020. So you can always say it didn't work out. Yeah, it didn't work out fine. But at that time, it made sense to go replace another all-star with the all-star, a guy that they were going to like playing with, which they did like playing with. And, it worked for 30 games. And then, he chose to play 1 million minutes in the all-star game, and the rest was history. But back to the Hayward injury. Yeah, him going down changed everything, because once the keys were given to them and they had that run, Tatum's first year, where he was showing like, look, I am the future. Like, I'm not next, I'm now. And, we all bought a lot of stinker, because I was talking cash shit to anybody that wanted to hear it. He was money. And so was Jaylen Brown, especially in that Milwaukee series, right? I remember that game 4 when they both went for 30 plus, and I was like, oh. I said, oh, we got these two guys next to Kyrie and Hayward next year. How did they lose? Well, they did. But it's like, God damn, it was like, really? But yeah, that was the worst thing that could have happened. So now it's like, okay, I feel like if you do trade Brown, Jaylen Brown becomes, I'm saying, I just feel like that's who, my gut just says that's who they end up trading, right? I just feel like that's what they would do. They end up trading Brown like how they traded Walker, because I see Brown like I see Walker. And another guy's an all-star, going to get something like, but Antoine goes to Dallas, plays well, whatever, goes to Miami. He wins before Pierce. And I remember being pissed, because I can totally see that happening now. If they trade Jaylen Brown first, you can guarantee wherever Jaylen Brown goes, that team would either go into a conference final or they're going to win championship. And we're going to be sitting there like, wow, Jaylen Brown really won an NBA championship at whatever in a few years before Tatum. So that's what I can see happen. And that would be like, I might be ready to jump off the second bridge if that happens. Like that'd be wild.
I'll also say this right now, so hopefully when you jump, you have a bungee cord. I firmly believe that Jaylen Brown is going to win a championship before Jayson Tatum does, if he does leave. And if he stays, I think Jaylen Brown will win a championship before Jayson Tatum does. I think Jayson Tatum has all of the things that you want to make a top 5 NBA player in terms of stats.
Mm-hmm.
I said this in the group chat. I just wish that when he drove to the basket, he drove to score, and he didn't drive to draw a foul. And that is, you can tell. I get it. That's the name of the game now. I get it.
He gets fouled. He gets fouled a lot, and they don't call it. Like there's even I think about the Washington game, right? And this was like in the first overtime. I think in the first second overtime, but you could tell Bill clearly hooked him. You could tell, like TV in person, you could tell Bill literally hugged that man, and they just swallowed the whistle. And I told Bobby, I said, this is why Tatum gets pissed. I said, I'd be pissed too if I'm getting held. And I get it, but if you don't hold Tatum and you just say, hey, he's gonna cook your ass every time 1-on-1. You have to scratch full grab against him, or he's gonna. Same thing with Jaylen. You have to kind of cheat against these guys, because if not, as you saw last night with Jaylen Brown, you're going to get worked every time. That's how good these guys are individually. And they know it too, which is part of the reason why the ball mover is not what it is. But so it goes back to that Smart point. Smart was right, but he's the wrong messenger. I'd have been fine. Al Horford said it. I'd have been fine. Really, actually, never mind. Al Horford's the only guy that could have said it. I love the fact that he talked about how he felt that it was on him. It's like, it's not, sir. You have been the saving grace. And I knew he was going to ball when he came back. He was, he's 34 years, 35 years old. I'm like, he didn't fucking play in Oklahoma City. He literally got treatment all year. So I was like, he's feeling great. He's jumping over people, jumping around, blocking everything in sight. The double big lineup works a lot better this year than it did last year, because Tristan Thompson just wasn't good at all. He had a few moments like he was really good in the playoffs, but other than that, he wasn't like great throughout the year. So yeah, Horford's already paying dividends in that regard. But yeah, something's got to give though. Something has to. We need a Woj bomb, Sanders bomb, whatever.
Two quick things before we wrap up. The first thing. Now I know that there are circumstances that will not come through to this analogy or to this comparison that I'm about to make. But if I were to tell you that 5 years ago, you would have Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and over the course of that 5 years, you would have surrounded them with Kyrie Irving, Kemba Walker, and Gordon Hayward, and then tell you that you did not have a championship to show for it, what would you say?
With the Philadelphia Eagles of the early 2000s.
Failure. It's a failure.
Yeah. At least they got someone, though. They got someone. So yeah. we need a TO. Who's going to be our TO? We need a TO that's going to say, hey, get on my back. We're going to get there. Because he's the reason why they got to the championship. It wasn't McNabb. So,
wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah. And so we need our TO. I don't know. To me, Donovan Mitchell could be that guy. I think that he is that. Boston fans will love Donovan Mitchell the minute he step on the floor. Because Donovan Mitchell he only knows one speed. And he is the D weight of this era, in my opinion. You want somebody, a guy that gets to the line, who's going to drop 40 on your head when he needs to, who's going to defend, even though he's a little smaller, but he's going to defend when he needs to. And once again, he has a chemistry with Jaylen Brown. And so if we're talking about getting rid of Tatum, you want to say you were building around Jaylen Brown. I promise you that Donovan Mitchell's that guy. Now, I don't know if Utah thinks to do that. To me, I don't know why they wouldn't. I mean, Tatum is bigger than Mitchell. Ingles and Conley could be the playmakers over there. And then you got Gobert. I think you would see Tatum first over there in Utah, honestly, playing next to someone like Gobert. His defense would be better. So on and so forth. So, and then Chris Snyder preaches ball movement. Like, you cannot play for Utah if you don't move the ball. So it's been like that since Jerry Sloan. So that's just something they have a Utah Jazz Symposium. It's hi, hello, welcome Salt Lake. 2, you move the ball a long time. Like that's just what it is. That's what it is there in Utah. So yeah. So listen, think about it, Celtics fans. Listen, you're speaking to someone who never wanted to see this duo break up. I don't want to see Antoine and Paul break up either. Like I have a picture of them in my in my mom's house. I love them both. I want them to win here, but if not, like something got to give.
But just to be clear, when that duo broke up, they both won a championship.
Right. So so if that's the case, I'm here for it. But I wanted them to win together. I wanted Paul and Antoine to win together. I just felt more organic because they both got drafted. You know what I'm saying? Like just like Tatum and Brown got drafted. That to me. It really is similar things, right? It really is. Now, I mean, they wasn't great right away, meaning Pierce Walker, but that run against the Nets. But that once again, that team, you never questioned their heart. Yeah, never questioned that. Also, that game 3 against New Jersey said it all, right? You never questioned that. So the game 5 against Philadelphia that year, when they blew them out in their building. I mean, they blew them out at the Fleet Center, right? You just never question it. The game against Al Harrington. When Pierce is staring them down, knocks down the 3. Like there's so many moments you can go to And like I said, Tatum and Brown have had some moments already in the playoffs, and you're like, okay, these guys are game time when it matters most. But I don't know. But like I said, you said it perfectly, brother, when you said that it's this year or never. Once again, DK, we give you your flowers while you're still here, brother. You took the bullet early on. I say I didn't agree, like I said, at the time, but like I said, you were ahead of the curve. And, like I said, I can't fully invest. I'm going to watch because we're going to talk about him on the show, and I'm also going to be start working at the Garden, so I have to see this bullshit itself. But I'm not happy about that, but it is what it is.
Real quick, 30 seconds before we go. What happened to Bobby's Rookie of the Year candidate, Peyton Pritchard?
I don't know. And it's a shame because him and Neesmith need to be playing. And so is Romeo. This team needs energy. They need energy. And those three guys provide that. I get it. Ime's looking for wins. So he's not looking to develop the young guys right away. But if you look back at last year, there's games that we don't win without paying Pritchard or Neesmith. So what are we going?
Pritchard's playing 14 minutes a game. Not a lot. He should get a little bit more, but 2 points. That's what he's averaging. You got to do more. You have to do more.
Oh, he's got to do more, but it's just like my thing is, what did him and Neesmith do that they're back in the dark of? So, I mean, granted, Neesmith wasn't playing under Brad last year either, so it wasn't like that. Like, Perry Pritchard was playing more, but I don't understand why that's the case. Maybe he makes protected him because of the mask injury. I don't know, but it's just like, listen, you're not at liberty to pick and choose when to play certain guys. The only guys that should be at the end of the bench is Bruno Fernando. Actually, you know what? Hernan Gomez is just one time. I like what I saw from him in the preseason. Like, to me, you need to switch things up. Like, it's okay to switch up. This second unit should be one of the best second units in the league. It should be. On paper, when you look at Richardson coming in, have either staggering Horford or Williams, and then maybe having Brown and Tatum, depending on how you stagger the minutes, like that, they should be one of the best second units in the league. This is not Jeff Teague out there coming out. This is not Brad Wanamaker coming out there. But you need that. You need that. So I don't know what they do from here. I really don't. I no longer have confidence into any game they come into. I really don't. And that last night's game broke me. I have to be honest. It broke me. There's no game they come into thinking, I think now they have a shot to win. And Bobby asked me before the game last night, he said, hey, you think they got a chance? And I said they do. And what's wild, I told him a few years ago, I said this Celtics season is going to mirror the Red Sox season, meaning that they catch fire when no one thinks they will, and they'll get to at least their version of the conference finals. But we can squash that. After yesterday, I just fuck it. And I understand that this is early on, but this has been happening since Bam Adebayo's block in the bubble. So my bubble has bursted, pun intended, and I'm over it. I'm done.
The Celtics are on pace to go 31-51 this year. So with that, for Rayshawn Buchanan, my name is Michael Marcangelo. Thank you so much for listening to Missing the Point, and we'll talk to you later.
Welcome to Ringside with Ray and Prince. My name is Ray Leonard Jr.
Oh, is that the set? No, that's just my dad.
My name is Prince Daniels Jr.
Daniels again with a big home touchdown.
On this show, we come to humanize
athletes, entertainers, business executives. We're going to see what makes them tick.
Tuesdays, 10 a.m. Pacific time on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and wherever you get your podcasts.
We'll see you there. Peace and power.
Electricast. Step inside the marketing mirror to uncover marketing secrets, discover gems, tactics, lessons, and campaigns you can use, next gen or fundamentals. Grab the marketing magic to improve your marketing and win more business. Electricast.